Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm Belinda Sandor. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. This is my weekly show. It's a tactical and practical weekly training for virtual assistants, and I'm really glad you're here. So come on in, come a little closer. Today we're going to talk about informational interviews. And this is something that it comes from the traditional workplace of getting a job. It's something that's been around for a really long time, but it's really overlooked in the world of virtual assistants. And it helped me significantly in the beginning when I was just starting out. So I want to dive right into that. So I'd love to hear where you're coming in from. So tell me in the comments. And I want you to know that Lessons from the Cockpit is brought to you by the VA Connection. And at the VA Connection, we work with new and aspiring and established virtual assistants to help them build thriving businesses through our free online community courses and coaching programs. And like I said, today we're going to talk about informational interviews and how you can use them to spread the word about your business. Because using this strategy that I'm going to talk about today is going to help you become more successful, make more money, and it'll help your clients be successful as well, right? So let's say hello. Okay, so we've got watching from the Philippines. Welcome. Good morning from beautiful Colorado. Hello, Dana. Hello, Avril from Scotland. Katie's here with her toddler. Wish me luck. Listening from Scotland also. And Donna is in New Jersey. That's great. That's great. So let me know where the rest of you are coming in from. Okay. So while you're doing that, I'm just going to introduce myself for a minute, and then we're going to dive into this. So this is me and my little delicious daughter, and this is when I was just starting out as a VA, almost 12 years ago, and it was a really tricky part of my life. It was really tricky. I was in a lot of transitions, which I don't love. There was a lot of chaos, and I was overwhelmed. These are my circumstances. So I'm a newly single mom. I don't have a job. I have a ton of debt. I mean, just really everywhere I looked was a mess. And we had to move 3 times in 4 years, which is expensive and stressful on its own. And my confidence was really shot. It was really shot because, I had had some good success in corporate, and all of a sudden it was just like, wow, I didn't expect to be where I am now right before I was turning 50. I thought I was going to be at the top of my game, and really it was do-over time, really do-over time. And I needed to figure out what I was going to do, because I wanted to be at home with Emily. And I didn't want the kind of job I'd had in corporate in the past, which was not even 9 to 5. It was, like 9 to whenever you're done, and people are contacting you crazy hours, and, working on projects in the weekends and all that kind of stuff. So I had to figure that out. I knew it was going to be non-traditional. My family has always been in corporate, very successful. And so this was a big deal, and everybody was not on board with this. But I decided to go out on my own anyway, and I decided to offer admin services to small businesses and entrepreneurs. So I just started telling everybody that I knew, because, like I said, I wanted to build my life around simple things like being a Girl Scout leader, or, having play dates at our house, things like that. So I just started telling everyone I knew. And my first client I got at the school bus stop. You guys have heard this story before, but, one of the dads says to me, "How are you? What's new?" And I tell him I'm starting my new business, and he hired me. Like within a couple of days, I was working with him, because he just started a business a few months before, and he was completely overwhelmed with administrative details. And so he was really happy. And it's easier to get clients than you think once you know what to do. And this is part of the strategy here. So we've got Julie from Montreal. Hello. We've got someone else in Connecticut, which is great. And I wonder if I'm pronouncing this right, Zaitun. Hello, watching from Kenya. Zaitun and I had a great conversation a couple of weeks ago. She was a winner of a strategy session with me at a recent Kickstart challenge, and we had a wonderful conversation. Okay, so the key is to just tell everybody that you know about your business. And 11, actually, it'll be 12 years, I think tomorrow or the next day. I have to look at my calendar. We're going to have a celebration, not this week, but soon. I've been in business almost 12 years. I've worked with over 225 clients, and I've earned over $1 million. The first year I was a virtual assistant, I earned $70,000. And then for the next 10 years, I earned over $100,000. And when you add that all up, believe it or not, it's $1 million. So, you can do this from your home. You can do this from your home. I want to fast forward. This is what it looks like today. In fact, this is me and Greg. We got married a little over a year ago. And these are our kids, David, Charlie, Stephen, Andy, and Emily, on our wedding day. And life is different now. My finances are handled, no more minimum payments, no more barely getting by. I have a thriving business, and I was there for Emily. I was there for her, and she's doing great. She's doing great. And back then, with so many transitions, I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out, but we stuck together, and she's doing really well. And you can get started today too, absolutely. And with what I'm going to tell you, I think it could be a really great first step. All right, so we're going to jump into informational interviews. And if you've heard of an informational interview before, tell me in the chat and tell me if you've tried this before. So, like I said, they're often overlooked, but they are an amazing way to get the word out about your business. And what's so great about them is that you're not selling, there's no reason to be pushy, and you're not asking for work, right? So this is like magic, right? Magic, and it's why I love them. Now, if you're starting out as a virtual assistant, especially if you're doing it on your own, it's really hard to know where to find great clients. And we want people to know about your new business, but we don't want to appear as if we're selling ourselves, right? We don't want to look like we're desperate or being pushy, right? Most of us are introverts, right? So this is uncomfortable to begin with, and so this, when I heard about informational interviews, I thought, this is perfect. This is perfect. And you'll see why. So an informational interview is really nothing more than a conversation with a fellow entrepreneur. Now, notice I said fellow entrepreneur because when you are a virtual assistant, you are an entrepreneur. You're a business owner. And so what you're going to do is you're going to introduce yourself. You're going to introduce your business in an informal meeting. Now, no, not casual. There's a big difference between informal and casual. And we'll talk a little bit about that and what to wear during these interviews in a minute. But informal is still business professional. Casual is like, hey, what's up? You're definitely not, hey, what's up during these interviews. All right. No matter how, even if this is like your best friend's brother, that you're talking to, you want to be informal, but not casual. And what you're going to do is you're going to ask them for their feedback on your business idea, right? On your business idea. So the first step is to identify potential clients for your interviews. You're going to look at your social networks. You're going to ask your friends. You're going to ask your family if they know anyone who would be willing to speak with you. And you're looking for business owners and entrepreneurs. Now, the tendency is to way overthink this, get stuck, and never do it. Okay? So don't do that. Don't overthink it. You can't get this wrong, right? You can't get this wrong. So you meet with, a financial planner, okay? And you learn about that industry. Whether or not you ever meet another financial planner or work with another financial planner, it doesn't matter because this is about practice and sharing information. That's all this is. You are not trying to get hired, okay? Now, in the beginning, this can feel uncomfortable, right? So you're going to have to walk through that. You're going to have to walk through it anyway, but this is a much easier way to do it. So just keep in mind, You're not selling. You're just asking them their opinion. And here's the thing. When you ask people their opinion, they're mostly flattered, right? They're mostly flattered. So don't be afraid of asking people for their opinion, right? You'll be surprised once you get going how easy this is. All right, I'm going to just look in the comments. So Donna says, heard of it, never did it, new to me. I have also heard you talking about it. Yes. Yes, I've used informational interviews for myself, and I am encouraging a client to use this concept. Great. I think called discovery calls from what I can work out on Instagram, or are they different? Not done any. Thank you for bringing that point up, Katie. These are completely 100% different from discovery calls, okay? Discovery calls are when someone expresses interest in working with you and you get on a call to find out whether or not you're a good fit. You can also call it a 30-minute consultation. So in a discovery call, you're talking specifically to someone who is looking for a virtual assistant or looking to potentially work with you. And that's a completely different thing. This is just two people talking. The topic is your business. And the idea is to get feedback from them and to have someone else listen to you talk about it, and learn about your business. Okay. So thank you for that, Katie. That was great. I've been doing a lot of connecting on LinkedIn since the session last week, but I have found that I get pushy people to invest in Bitcoin currency. So a couple of things about that. I would be looking at who you're connecting with, and go through people that are connected with your friends and colleagues. That's a nice way to connect with people. I see you're connected to so and so. I thought it would be nice to connect, so that you're not just like shooting in the dark. Oh, great. Okay. Lynn, I'm going to tell you some questions for sure. Okay. I've got 4 questions for you. Okay. Good. So that's what an informational interview is. It's a conversation with another entrepreneur or small business owner to hear about your business and to get feedback. All right. So once you have your list of people, and you can start out with a smaller list and keep adding to it, but I really would like you to try this, 5, 6, 7 times, okay? You want to contact each person individually with a brief introduction of who you are and explain your background and that you like to meet them. Oh, by the way, while I'm thinking about it, if you are a VA school student, there is a video specifically about this. In addition to that, there is a list of questions. It's a downloadable PDF right in your lesson about this. It's in the module called Marketing 102, just so you know. So for those of you who are in VA school, you don't have to be writing furiously the questions because you can just download them. Okay. All right. So you have your list of people. And so now you're going to explain a little bit of your background and why you'd like to meet them. Okay. So here's some words that you might use. Hi, Mary. Sally recommended that I get in touch with you. I'm just starting out my new business as a virtual assistant. I know you've been a fill in the blank, architect, CPA, financial planner, online marketer for a number of years. I'd really like your opinion about, all right, this is key. I'd really like your opinion about how someone like me might work with someone in your industry. Not you, right? We're not putting pressure on this person. We're not selling them. So I'd really like your opinion about how someone like me might work with someone in your industry. If you can spare 20 or 30 minutes, I'd love to talk to you about my new business. Keep it simple, keep it short, okay? Keep it simple, keep it short. Now, not everyone's going to respond to you, okay? And I don't want you to take that personally, because what that means is they didn't see the email, they thought it was spam, so follow up once and then let it go. And move on, okay? And spend time with the people who are interested and willing to meet with you, because those are the ones that are going to help you, right? You can spend your energy focusing on the people who are not being helpful, or you can just focus on the ones who are, and that's what I recommend, all right? Now, there's some keys to success that I want to go and I want to go through each one step by step. So the first thing that I want to point out is wonderful things happen during these meetings, okay? And the first wonderful thing is that an entrepreneur or a small business owner knows in depth all about your business. Okay. They know how it works because that's the topic of the conversation. Okay. So you're not pushing it on them. That's what the point is, right? You can talk about your pricing, your services, all the details, okay? And because you're not selling, there's no pressure, there's no ick, and you can get feedback from someone who maybe you'd like to work with, someone in their industry. And so you're going to learn a little bit about them as well, okay? Now, I want to dive into the keys for success. So once the meeting begins, I want you to take charge of it, okay? And here's what you might say. You might say something like, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'm very excited to get your feedback on my business. Then what I want you to do is explain that you're a virtual assistant and tell them what you're specializing in. Talk to them about your services, your pricing, really the works. Now, if you're not sure how to do this, I want you to sign up for the next VA Client Kickstart Challenge because I'm going to teach you how this is done, okay? I teach you how to talk about your work in a way that turns the person you're talking to, and in this case, the informational interview person, into a referral engine, all right? And then the key is to listen and take in their feedback. Just take it in. All right. And again, and this is a good time to use this, right? Stop talking, right? Really stop talking. All right. It looks like everybody's with me so far. Okay. So let's just check in the comments. Great. It says, if we do not have email addresses, can we do the same sort of approach through LinkedIn connections? You can look at their LinkedIn profile and see if their email address is there. Sometimes it's in the contact information. The other thing is that, you know what? Here's the thing. If your friend is suggesting you talk to them, ask your friend for their email address, right? Because that's the whole point. It's somebody, you're not just pulling people out of the sky. You're looking for people inside, like one step away from you in your network. Okay. So definitely don't expect more than 20 or 30 minutes. And you need to be the one who's keeping your eye on the time. Okay. You have to make sure that you want to, of course, be on time, and you want to end on time. If the person wants to continue talking, that's great. It's not great. It's not anything. Like, it's not a sign, I guess is what I'm saying. But you can accommodate that if you can continue to talk. But if they agree to 20 minutes, at the 20-minute mark, I want you to, stop and say, I just want to acknowledge that it's been 20 minutes. And I know that's all that we, that's the amount of time that we set up. So if you need to go now, I completely understand. Everything you said has been terrific, right? So you want to make sure that you get to the point of what you're doing. So there's time for the feedback in that amount of time. So Dana, great question. How important is it to meet in person? Is a phone interview or Zoom call acceptable? Totally. You know what I'm basing this on is my last informational interview was, 12 years ago. I did probably six or eight of them, and I haven't done one since. But Zoom is totally fine. And the thing that's so great about Zoom, now you can meet with someone in California or, wherever. So it's not limited at all by your geography. So thank you for mentioning that. That's a really good point. Yes. Good. Okay. So you want to be prepared. Now, this is a great opportunity to practice talking about your business, during the meeting, but you want to be clear about your pricing and what you're offering enough to have the conversation. You might say, I'm thinking about offering X, Y, and Z. How does that fit in to someone within your industry? Are those services that you might be interested? Someone in your industry might be interested. Okay. So now you want to be careful not to dive in too deep though. Okay. You don't want to confuse or overwhelm them, and again, with the stop talking, you need to show up clear. All right. This is not for them to bring clarity to you. This is for you to practice being confident and clear about what you're doing, and then listen for feedback. All right. Now, after you explain what you're doing, about your business, make sure that you ask them what do they think. What do they think? Does this make sense for someone in your industry? Now, note that you're not putting them on the spot. And I know I'm repeating myself over and over, but this is so important because you're there to show a genuine curiosity about them and their particular industry, and never, ever, ever even allude, even in a joke, to working together or hiring you. Now, they might start a serious conversation, about that. They might say, "This sounds really great. I would like to talk about working together." And then you can say, "Great. Would you like to do that now, or would you like to schedule, a separate time for that?" And then stop talking, right? So the goal is really to understand what, the other person's industry, and it's also to build a relationship. Okay, the person's going to feel misled if you don't follow through with the original intent of the meeting, which is just to share information. So that's why I'm saying, if they express interest in working together, this is not the time to jump up and down and say, "Goody, goody, I'm so glad, yay." It's really, that would be wonderful. I'd love to have that conversation, and then ask them, do you want to talk more about that now, or would you like to set up a separate meeting? So being really clear. Now, after the meeting, if you make a connection, and meaning you like each other and you'd like to continue building the relationship, ask the person if it would be okay to stay in touch. Now, this is where having an email newsletter is awesome, because you can ask to add them to your email newsletter subscriber list, right? So now you're naturally, every couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, you're sending an email newsletter out to all the people including this person. Now, make sure that you dress professionally, whether you're meeting virtually or in person. Make sure that you're pulled together, and that your hair is neat and not stuck up on top of your head, in a get stuff done bun. We all have a get stuff done bun, but this is not the time for that. Dressing professionally is a sign of respect for the other person. Okay, so even if you don't need to do it for you, I would do it for the other person as a sign of respect. Okay, now here are some question ideas. All right, you could ask them, what are there tasks in your business that you think are slowing you down or taking you away from work you'd rather be doing? And then just stop talking. So the question should be clear and concise. Okay, another question is, have you ever worked with a virtual assistant or freelancer before? Okay, if yes, how did it go? If not, have you ever thought about it? Right? Okay. And then if they talk about specific work that they think someone else could do, or they talk about their work, just simply ask the question, do you think someone else could take care of some of these tasks for you? Right? It's just a question. It's not hire me. Okay. All right. So let me just look and see what the questions are. Oh, so Zaitan, what to expect in a virtual assistant interview? I have an upcoming interview this Friday. So it sounds like you have a discovery call. So definitely go over to thevaconnection.com, click on the blog, and I have mostly called them in my career 30-minute consultations. Search in the search box for, probably just put the number 30. That might bring it up, or consultation, and you'll see a whole blog post that explains exactly all about discovery calls, or the 30-minute consultation calls. It has questions, the intention. I think there's more than one article. And I don't know if you guys know about that, but there's well over 100 and something articles over there on these specific topics. There's one on informational interviews over there as well. So check that out. Okay. So you've asked these questions, they know about your business, all of the things. And then you want to make sure you thank them. Okay. All right. Yes. So Katie says, so after sharing information on potential services, packages, fees, then the questions you suggest. Yes, yes. No, you haven't missed anything. You haven't missed anything. But keep in mind, you want to be prepared, and you want to have, and it's okay to have your questions on a piece of paper. You can just say, I have some notes so I don't forget anything. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to have this like memorized. And just be careful that when you're talking about your fees and your packages, you're not overcomplicating it. I mean, I suggest that the debit card system where people prepay your time in 5 or 10 hour chunks. Anything more complicated than that, you're probably going to lose them. Okay. Just meaning losing them following you. All right. So make sure you keep everything really, really simple, like I teach you in the challenge in NVA school. Okay. Now, you're going to want to thank them. So you can thank them via email or a handwritten note. Handwritten note, of course, is nicer because, it's coming in the mail, and you can simply ask them for their address. You can say, do you mind giving me your physical address? I'd love to I'd love to send you a note. Or I'd maybe like to keep in touch that way. And you want to thank them for their time. Follow up is critical. It's really critical because it's not just about that meeting. It's about creating a relationship with someone new, someone in a different industry. All right. Now I want to talk about feedback. All right. Because we're asking them for feedback. Now, even though you're going to get a ton of valuable information in these interviews, the feedback is going to need to go through the filter of the goals you have for your business. Okay. So please do not turn yourself upside down and change everything in your business based on their feedback. Now, the person you're interviewing with, they're not an expert at being a virtual assistant. That's why you're hanging out with me, because I can teach you this piece. What they're going to be doing is suggesting how someone outside of your world can work with you. Okay. So I don't want you to rethink your whole business if someone says, I would never work with someone virtually. That's okay. That's okay. All right. But you can learn about what kind of tasks someone could do in person, right? And then you can decide whether you could do them virtually or not. So take the feedback, listen to it, don't argue with it, don't get into a debate with them, just keep moving. All right. Just keep moving. Now, when I started my VA business, I had a series, like I said, a series of informational interviews. And I have to say it was a huge success. I was definitely really nervous at first. I for a couple of them, I can still put myself back where I was sitting. Most of mine were in person, but again, that was 12 years ago. And when they were in person, I made sure I was the one buying the drink. If we were meeting for coffee, I would say, "This is my treat. I appreciate your time." So I'm taking the role of the leader of the meeting, the host, and it felt really good, and it really boosted my confidence. So some of the people that I spoke to became really big cheerleaders for me because I asked their opinion. I told them about my business, and people like to refer other people, right? We love that. And they helped me spread the word. And then others of them hired me, not that day, not that red hot minute, but they hired me. And one of them in particular too, I'm still working with 12 years later. So check this out. Try it out. It's a great, non-threatening, pretty easy way to spread the word about your business. Okay? Great. So thank you. This is all very helpful. Good. And then Dana says, love this info and I'm looking forward to applying it. Thank you. Have to duck out. Okay, good. Absolutely. All right. Now I want to tell you quickly about the VA Client Kickstart Challenge. This is my 5-day absolutely free training where I teach you how to get a steady stream of clients in your VA business. The next one is September 12th, 2022. You can sign up right here at vachallenge.info. Check it out. Love to have you. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. We're going to talk about your services. I alluded to needing to talk about your work in a way that people understand. We do that. We do that in detail. There's a pop-up Facebook group, lots of energy, and it's a lot of fun. And we have prizes, all kinds of things. So go on over and sign up. Okay, good. All right, so let's see. Thank you. Brilliant course. Can thoroughly recommended. I've been working my way through the list of everything you've taught us. That's terrific. That's terrific. All right, you guys. Thank you for coming to Lessons from the Cockpit. We've moved this till Tuesday. You'll find me here every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. I appreciate your attention and have a great week. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.